Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my 40-day restorative yoga challenge. My name is Sadhana and today I am recording this video because I have no internet and hopefully I have enough power on my laptop to actually get through this. So today we're going to go back to the thigh stretch and I want to revisit what I was talking about yesterday with the reclined Supta Virasana, with the reclined saddle pose, because I have a few more thoughts on that, and as well we're going to go down to the mat today, lie on our fronts and stretch out the legs in that direction. When things happen, power goes out, plans change, sometimes it's hard to settle and to just be with it. And I need to remind myself this is exactly how this is supposed to play out today. This is exactly how this is supposed to go. And there's always a reason. There's always another layer that we cannot see or understand. And so I just need to trust that today we have a pre-recorded video and this is how it's going to be. I was thinking yesterday when I did the animal deck that one of the beautiful things about the practice of yoga is that a lot of the postures are named after animals. And I don't know how deeply you've thought about that, but there's a reason and there's an inspiration that can be attained through the witnessing of nature and through the movement of animals and through their grace and their strength, their flexibility, their swiftness, their softness, their flight and everything. And so I think over the next few days I'm going to share with you a number of animal decks and draw inspiration from them. And today I have for you the Messenger cards by Sandra Coons. This is a Canadian artist. I've had this deck for a long time and it's a really beautiful, beautiful deck. There's mostly ravens in this deck, not a huge range of animals, but the four-legged creatures that are in this deck are so, just the way the art is drawn, it's so beautiful. Very early on in my channel, I did a walkthrough of this deck, one of my very first videos. So if you want to go back, you can have a look at that. So yeah, so just close your eyes. And if you can come into Virasana, begin to stretch out your thighs. And if your legs are a little sore from yesterday, just breathe in to that. There may be some tension that has created around your knees if you weren't used to being in that shape. And so today I want you to be really gentle. And so I'm going to do a really gentle thigh stretch today. But first, let's just kind of go to the animals and see what message they have for us. And they have no lights behind me too either, so it's kind of maybe kind of a dim video. All right. That's a frog. It's one of her black and white ink drawings with no color. Number 28, New Beginnings. And the frog is just kind of peering out through the leaf, through the scene. And perhaps it's a tadpole that has just matured and a tadpole that's just come into its new life. It's really lovely. And so I want you to really embrace that. I want you to really embrace that, especially if you're new to all of this, that you really begin to take each step of this journey as a new beginning, regardless of your age, regardless of your experience with yoga, to really just trust in this process. Releasing and cleansing can give us new perspective. One of owning our power and one of childlike wonder, which is really important in this practice, is to come back to that sense of exactly that, childlike wonder. The playful nature of a child brings with it curiosity of what can come next and helps us to lose the seriousness that we can get lost in. The innocence of a fresh start can come from intending to have more fun and from cleansing the old way like yesterday's dust. There are many ways to cleanse: water, smudging, walking in nature, feeling the sun on your face, a good laugh, playing with a child, just enjoying the moment. So that's really lovely. All right, so let's go back to, you see I have the setup from yesterday, and as I was watching the playback, I noticed this is kind of a no-brainer. So how do you make the bolster longer? You put a block underneath it, or 2 blocks underneath it, especially if you need to get your seat up off the floor. So what I was suggesting, just let me get a block here, right? Because you need to not have your neck leaning back so far that you're causing injury to your neck. Sorry, I was done fully thinking I was going to completely redo this one, because we want to have safe space for your neck. So if indeed you do need 2 blocks underneath your seat, you can also begin to bring the bolster a little higher. And these foam blocks do not tend to slip. The cork blocks are also excellent if you have cork blocks. They're a little bit more of an investment, but they're really, really lovely. And so perhaps if your reclined hero pose needs to be elevated this far, then you just sort of going to raise up the bolster. And I'm just going to check in to see if that's going to work. Perhaps. Yeah, I think it will. And then you're just going to need to set up the armrests like we did yesterday a lot higher. So yeah, so there's always a way. Always a way. And that's what I want you to take away from this practice, is that for every single body, there's a way to get into these openings, and we need to trust that if we're creative and if we really, really want to get there, we can. So come down onto your mat, and if you have a yoga strap, you can get the yoga strap, but it's not entirely necessary. So in this thigh stretch, you want to have a few different pillows and props around you so that once you get down there, you can just soften into the thigh stretch. And really this one is, it's a no-brainer. I'm sure a lot of you do this standing or have done this standing as well too. So I have this small cushion here, but you may want to get a few throw pillows off the sofa. And again, the yoga strap is completely optional. So what we're going to do is come into really a half bow pose, but this is just a preliminary part of the bow posture. And we can do this in less of a restorative way. You can either hold the foot from the outside, you can hold the foot from the inside. It depends on the rotation in your shoulder, the flexibility in your shoulder. But in the bow posture, we're definitely holding the foot from the outside. And when you're doing the setup for a posture such as dancer's pose, you're working from the inside of the foot, which is a different experience. And so this is a restorative practice. So we're not elevating the body up. We're coming down into relaxation. And all I'm going to do is just hold the foot. And for some of you may not be able to reach your foot. And so that is what the yoga strap is for. So the yoga strap would go around the foot. And you're definitely going to need to have somebody to help you with this. So you can you may be able to do it yourself, depending on how much space you have in your body. Just move it over here. And then you can rest down onto your pillow. And then just breathe into the thigh stretch. And this is a really nice place just to begin. Soften the right arm. And in order to completely relax the left hand, because right now my left hand is holding onto the strap, so it's not entirely relaxed, you could loop the strap through and put it on your wrist or put it on your pillow. But this is okay. And I'm just going to start by taking some deep breaths all the way down, right up from the hips. So this stretch really starts up here. I can feel it in the front of the thigh. And of course, there'll be able to be an effect in the knee as well too. Now, depending on how open your quadricep muscles are, you may want to start by creating a little bit of resistance, which means creating a more active foot, taking a big breath in, and as you exhale, pressing in to the strap, and then softening into the posture. So you might want to do that a few times, and then just let go. So we're going to do this on both sides, and then I'm going to offer up something a little more playful that also includes the shoulder that I really, really love as a thigh stretch, but isn't necessarily a restorative pose. This is actually really sweet, and remember to focus on the exhale breath. And like I said yesterday, if you have issues in your knee joint, you can get somebody to help you with this. And you might need to place a blanket underneath your right thigh knee area. You may also need to place a blanket between here. So you could place a blanket on the back of the right, on the hamstring, right? So you have a little less pressure in the knee joint. So I'm just going to take 11 more deep breaths here. And I encourage you to reflect on all that this is opening for you. New beginnings. So when we start with the physical body and we tap deeply into the physical body with this kind of a practice, we never really know what is going to open. It has this tendency to have this beautiful rebound effect. Just a few more deep breaths. And then simply, if you have the strap in your left hand, release the strap and allow the foot to extend. Bring your torso into a neutral position. Stack your palms and rest your forehead on your palms. Take your internal gaze to the leg, the hip area, and just observe. Then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and you can press up. Get your strap and we'll do the other leg. I'll just turn around.
Okay, so come on to your other side. You can take the strap around the foot if you like. Entirely optional, but it was actually really nice. I usually don't do it with the strap, but that felt really good. Like we had in the saddle position, the Supta Virasana, to have the knee, so my left knee is not in direct alignment with the hip. I had it a little bit out here, and so this, do you remember yesterday when I was talking about the Supta Virasana, the hero's pose? So if the knees are straight in alignment with the hips, it is a much more intense quadricep stretch, as opposed to resting the leg out a little bit to the side. So you choose your medicine in that way. And then come down onto your arms, onto your pillow. Soften the right foot and just let go. And like we did on the other side, if you are feeling a little bit of anxiety, if you are feeling restless, you can take a breath in, you can come up a little bit. And as you exhale, press the foot into the strap and then create some resistance. And by creating this tension and softening, big breath in, exhale, press the foot into the strap. It may be easier for the physical body to rest. A little bit of tension and relaxation can be really helpful if you're feeling wound up in any way. And then you can either release the slack on the strap, or you can, bring a little more oomph into the stretch by moving, pulling the strap by decreasing the slack on the strap is what I'm trying to say. And so if yesterday's posture was a little too much for you, I would encourage you to try something like this, some variation of this. As a warm-up. Or perhaps you just work with this one leg at a time for a few weeks. And then you may be surprised how much more comfortable the reclined hero's posture is. And again, listen to your body. Listen to your internal wisdom. And counting forwards or backwards. Take 11 deep, deeply nourishing breaths. When you're complete, just release the slack. Allow the foot to come down to the floor. Ideally, you can have all these things in the way. Gently rock the hips side to side. Bring the forehead, the torso into neutral alignment.
And then just let go. And when you come into these shapes of integration, give yourself at least 3 breaths. And I will show you one more thing today. I'm going to bring my hands underneath my shoulders and press up, come back into a half child's pose, and then up to my seat.
Okay, so this is not a restorative posture, but you can make it restorative if you set yourself up in a way with sufficient pillows and blankets behind you. And this, I've done this lots of times in a power yoga class at the end of class. I've done it in all kinds of classes. It's really, really fun. And it's an amazing shoulder stretch as well too. And this is when we take the full bow posture over to the side. So I'm going to show you this. Some of you might know this. So when you come down onto your back, and you may, if you are not able to hold your feet, need to have somebody in your household put a strap around your feet. So you could take a few breaths, just coming here, feeling, just settling into the shape first of all. And you may have, right, you may have a strap, right, and your feet are like this, or like this. However much space you have in your body. My hands are on the outside of my feet. So for bow posture, on the outside of the feet. And this is important because we're going to turn. Now, some people have a hard time with this momentum. I'm going to go on to my left shoulder, over to my side, and my little cushion is right here, and the bolster is behind me, and I'm going to rest that foot on the bolster. I actually did that pretty well. And the floor here for me is really, really hard. And so what I should have done was adjust and had more blankets down here. But this is a pretty sweet posture. And if you're doing this with other people in the home, you can have them set up the bolster behind you. And my left hand is still on my left foot. My right foot is relaxing on the bolster. My head is on this bolster, and I'm just going to allow my right hand to dangle behind. And not only is this an incredible shoulder stretch, but I'm getting a beautiful stretch through the top leg, through the top hip. And perhaps what I'll do is I will show you, I'll do the other side in just a few breaths. I'll show you from the other side. I really, really quite enjoy this. And so my reason for showing you lots of different variations is because of thigh stretches, is because I feel it's really, not enough time is spent doing that. And if we can open up the front side of the hip, this whole front line of the body, a lot of the postures in yoga and the way we move and walk and sit becomes so much easier. And this right here is so tight in most people because of all the sitting that we do. Okay? So I'm just going to take a couple deep breaths here. If you're with me, soften the upper leg. You could also have somebody in your household place a bolster between your knees, right? So this is completely relaxing. It's pretty sweet, actually. And then I'm going to release the left foot. And in an active class, I would just roll right on over to the other side, but I'm going to do this a little more gently because this is intended to be a restorative practice. I would come into a few breaths of integration. And then set yourself up on the other side. So I'm going to move a little bit over on my mat so I have some cushioning here. And again, if it's too much on the shoulder, then you want to place some blankets down here as well too. And then I want to have something over here for my back body. Okay? So coming into the bow posture again. I'm going to take a few breaths just to settle here. Bring the body into neutral alignment. And my right thigh feels so much softer than my left. Isn't that interesting? Makes sense though, right? And then I'm just going to roll onto my right shoulder. This is not quite in the right place. I'm going to hold onto the bottom foot. Release the top foot, and then just dangle here. Bring my cushion underneath my head. And again, on this side, even though I am definitely on the yoga mat, it is quite hard on the shoulder. So setting up a blanket there would definitely help. And here, deepening across the front side. So you can see on the back body here, like this arm is just completely soft and relaxing. I am holding on to this bottom foot, but I can let that go. I'm going to take 6 breaths, and then we'll come back. And if you have managed to get here and you're enjoying this, please stay so you feel like you have done equal time on both sides. And then to come out very mindfully with breath, unwinding. Come back into a prone position. Neutralize the spine. Neutralize the whole body. You can scooch back onto your mat. For me, toes together and heels wide feels the most relaxing in the lower body. And you can stay in a prone shavasana, or you can roll over onto your back and spend a few minutes in shavasana. I'm just going to take 2 more breaths. And then when you're coming out of the prone shavasana, tuck your toes. You can press up half cat, child's pose. You could hang out in child's pose. We will spend some time in child's pose, and I'll give you lots of different suggestions for working through your child's pose practice. But for today, I think that's enough. And so really get comfortable in lots of different variations of hero's pose, which is the pose where your knees are tucked underneath you. And again, if your joints are an issue, get up, right, and support your body in a way, or come down to the mat like we did here today and try one leg at a time, doing a very gentle thigh stretch, and get somebody in your house to help you loop the strap, or a towel. A towel works really well around your foot. And then just soften and breathe. And maybe today it's 10 breaths. And maybe in 2 weeks' time it's 5 minutes per leg. So it's a process and it's a journey. So please stay with it. So thank you. Thank you for being here today. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, hopefully live. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.